So, music. Pretty cool thing. I love music a lot. So much so that I have a Spotify premium membership. I had it for like a good amount of years. I think a year or two so far. And uh, and honestly, I think that music is like the best drug, if you will. Because well, I mean, a drug is like a mind altering substance, right? And I believe that music does a similar thing to a sense. And what do I mean by this, right? So, whenever you listen to music, or at least whenever I listen to music, right? Let's start with that. I end up in this sort of like headspace depending on like the theme of the music or whatnot, or like I get in the mood for something basically, right? So, like for example, like I'll go to the gym, I'm about to pump a workout, gonna go on leg day, right? Just actually came back from leg day, so that's cool. And maybe it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to push it. I don't know if I got that like little push the edge, right, and all that stuff. But then all of a sudden I kick in like some funk music or whatever, and then all of a sudden I'm just like fucking banging my head, blasting overdrive, and I'll just go fucking nuts, and then just pump iron basically. So and then boom, like 45 minutes later, a whole hour later, I just finished a workout. I'm like, oh, that was quick. Holy fuck. And I'm still listening to some banger music, like, alright, cool. Get that energy going, right? And yeah, it just helps in like that sort of mindset that I guess productivity. Or like same with studying as well. I always put on music whenever I study because it helps me I wouldn't say it helps me concentrate. It helps me rather just to sort of push myself at like the momentum basically. Because the hardest part about doing anything in general is just that sort of like momentum kickstart, right? Because once you start doing the thing itself, it's actually not as bad as your brain initially thinks of it. Like, for example, let's say you're writing an essay, okay? And you have to write like a 2-page essay or whatever, maybe like 5-page, maybe 10 pages. I don't know. But either way, your brain is gonna think, holy shit, 10 pages? That's like a lot of writing, right? But, once you pop some music on, then you'll be like, oh, let me just write some stuff. Okay, now let me just go ahead and do this. Okay, I know what to write about, but right, just go ahead, whatever. And now this may work for some people, this may not work for others, and some people have tried it, some people haven't. But either way, I think that music is like that good like momentum push, and that's sort of like a little oomph into whatever you want to do, and honestly, just makes the mood a lot better for a lot of if you pick the right music, right? Like, music could definitely make it can make your day a little bit shittier in some cases, depending on what you listen to. Like, if you listen to like some sad, soppy shit, especially if it's like in the middle of the night, then like, dude, that's gonna fuck with you so badly. Like, I don't get why people do this. Like, they'll go out of their way to just listen to like the sad, soppy music shit, just because. I mean, at first it kind of like feels fitting in a way, and it's like, okay, it kind of feels nice, and I'll admit, right? That sort of like sad or like a slow type music or whatever is actually beautiful. Some are, and then some. If it's like XXXTentacion, then it's not like I'm not gonna label it as masterpiece art, but I could definitely see the appeal for that nonetheless. But either way, though, like if you're like struggling or if you're in like a shit mood or whatever, right? Then you shouldn't be listening to sad music, okay? Because your mentality, like your mind, you may not realize this, but your mind is so fucking powerful with like actions and whatever you want to do that whatever sort of mind state that you're in, it will affect everything else. And I know this is like, well, duh, no shit, like that's pretty obvious, like the head has done that, but all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it is true. Like, common sense doesn't mean it's common knowledge. Thankfully, I learned that from one professor. Pretty awesome. But, yeah. So, what was I trying to go at? Yeah. So the thing is, like, if you want to get work done, right? Obviously, you gotta put up some like energetic music. But if you don't, you just want to sit around, just be sad as shit. Okay, fine, play some sad music, whatever. That's you. But why is music super effective? And I guess it's more delving into like the science of like the psychology aspect of it, which I mean I haven't done research on, so I'm not gonna say that I know everything, but from what I can understand from like the basic neuroscience that I've learned in class or whatever, right? So, in terms of audio transduction, I'm gonna try to make this as simple as I can. In terms of audio transduction, which basically means like you have sound wave outside and then it goes into your ear and then whatever, right? That whole process, it goes through like many different aspects, but we're gonna look into the main aspect. It's called the cochlea, right? The cochlea is like this one organ in your ear where it's like a little like snail, like little loop, and inside of it has like this sort of board, if you will, right? It's called the tympanic membrane. So the tympanic membrane vibrates, right? Based off of whatever outside sound it comes in, it vibrates that. And it's kind of like this narrow board like this, you can imagine it, where the wider stuff is like lower frequency, the narrow stuff is higher stuff, right? And, you know, based off, and basically it just takes those vibrations, turns it into electrical signal, goes over to your brain, and that's like the very simple version of it. There's like so much more that happens, but we're gonna go with that because I'm not trying to overload anybody here with information, because that's not what you came here for. So, um, so yeah, that whole transduction process happens, and knowing that, right, a lot of, well, let's think of this first. What is the difference between energetic music and then like sad music, right? Like, we'll go with that, sad music. So the obvious one would be tempo. Big tempo difference. Like you have energetic music like bum ba 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 bum, right? Whereas slow music or sad music is more like bum 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 ba ba, you know, like that. And I mean, it could be slow or it could be a little bit faster, but typically it's around like that tempo ish. You know, I'm not gonna go to music terminology, but yeah, that's one difference. The other would be pitch. So like sort of like notes. Typically with like energetic music, you have a high pitch. It's like you know, and like if you're listening to like EDM, especially or like dance music or whatever, right? Then you're gonna get those like electric poppy sounds and like a lot of like heavily stimulating sounds that will like make your tympanic membrane go boop 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 boop, boop, and then because it's going boop 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 boop, it's gonna transduce the brain saying, hey, so we're going boop 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 boop, so therefore you're gonna go da 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 da, right, and just start going nuts and go sicko mode basically, right? Whereas if you hear like slow music and it's like da 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 da, then that'll make you a bit more calm, and then it will make your brain just be like, okay, so my processing rate or like whatever brain is doing, it's just going da 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 da, right? So that's one thing. And you know, you might think, oh, that's not a bad thing, and you're right. That alone is not a bad thing, especially if you're trying to just relax or detox. But it comes to, and same thing with pitch too, like higher pitch, and then like all the different frequencies and stuff. Yeah, helps you calm. Higher pitch will make you more energetic, and lower pitch will make you more like just calm, really, right? But and the technicality aspect, that doesn't seem that bad. But then, you know, if you're a person who pay attentions to lyrics, and I do this like every time and time again, especially if I'm doing nothing, and well, yeah, if you're gonna do that, then yeah, it's gonna really take a toll on you. But like again, if you just sit there and listen to music, just like listen to the beat, even if you don't, even if you're not doing anything in particular, then I mean, hey, you know what? Ignore this. This really isn't for you then. But go ahead and listen to your sad music. Okay. So, but to us to pay attention to the lyrics, you know, it'll definitely take a good like toll on you, and it'll like kind of sink into you a bit more, right? Especially if you've been through some rougher scenarios, or like you've been absolutely stressed out of your mind, or like this is worse. Especially I've noticed like some friends that went through breakups and all that, and they would listen to sad music, and it's like, dude, why? That's a recipe for disaster, and yet you're doing that to yourself. Why? Like, why would you do that, right? But they do it nonetheless. But I digress. Either way though, you know, that like paying attention to the lyrics. Obviously it's gonna be sad, right? Obviously it's gonna talk about like all the struggles and like pour out all these emotions. And then once like the more advanced part of your ears and brain understand, like it will go over to your temporal lobe, which is like somewhere around here in your brain, which processes audio, and then there's like a specific part into it that processes language, right? So once that like language processing area in your brain starts to listen to those lyrics and understand like the connotation and meanings of the words, then all of a sudden that's gonna go over to like different parts of the brain. It's gonna go to your frontal cortex, which is like your command center. You sort of like this is where you think all your logistical stuff, right? This is where the logic comes from. And then there's the occipital lobe, which is like the back of your head. And that's like where vision is there, and that's how you also get like imaginary figures like kind of appearing every now and then. Like this, like the back of your head basically affects your vision, like what you see. And so maybe this is just me, but whenever I would listen to sad music and I would pay attention to the lyrics, I would get this sort of movie in my head, like this really sad, depressing movie where it would just be about like whatever like I feel the most shitty about. And like for me, you know, it would be mainly about like my family because I care very heavily about my family, you know, especially when it comes to my brother, right? Because like the one thing I fear about my brother really is like him having to be out in the streets, not knowing how to take care of himself or whatnot, and just overall being screwed over just because he may not be able to function in basic things like, you know, how to like trying to get a job or communicating or like cleaning, that sort of stuff, you know? And you know, like shit like that would really fuck over with my brain. And especially if I'm sleeping as well, and like that shit's playing in the background. It's never a good time. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. Like, never do that shit, right? And that's why, like, if you look at my like songs on Spotify, a lot of them more recently has been like energetics or like poppy stuff, or like maybe like some like rock here and there. But I had that whole phase when I was like in high school, so it was like I had that old man vibe. I don't know why, but 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 yeah, no, like that's sort of music could really have a big effect on you because it plays a part into your mental space and like how you sort of take action and sort of like process different things. Because I remember watching Hamza, and you know he goes over a book that I read a little bit on, and basically he talks about, he in that book they talk about like you know, two different types of mindsets that you have. And I mean, to put it simply, there's like your conscious and your subconscious. I call this the book calls it fast and slow, but I call it the like the reality version versus the fictional version, fiction versus non-fiction, right? So you have your non-fictional version, and right now you could say it's a bit of a debate, but I'm gonna count this as my non-fiction like part right now. Like me recording this video, you know, I had to press the record button on Reaper, and then I have to press this record button on here, like that, tap the little button, whatever. And same thing with the words that I'm saying. Although sometimes the words just kind of auto-generate by on their own based on how I'm thinking or what are my thoughts. But then I have a sort of thought process that happens immediately after that's like, okay, go ahead and say these words, right? So like they work with each other, but they could also like clash against each other, just be like, oh, you know, like the sort of jazz. So so it depends on like how you sort of treat it. And I think music is one of the easiest, more fun ways, really. And also just really simple because it's just like pick a song, enjoy the tunes, and then go ahead and do whatever. It doesn't really inhibit any part of your life, really. It's just kind of like background music, and also it helps you, it makes you feel like you're in a movie almost, right? Or like in a TV show. Especially when you wake up, because like one part of my morning routine, if I even call this a morning routine, because it's kind of shit right now, I'll be honest, is well, when I was going to school a lot, like I had to wake up 6 in the morning, do the whole drive or whatever, I would always play music in the morning. I don't know what it would be. It would just be something I find on my like songs, okay? And if I end up getting tired of whatever's in my like songs, I'll go to like Spotify's Discover Weekly, and then sort of just find whatever's on there, see if I like anything, and then sort of rinse and repeat because I just trust the Spotify algorithms that, like, whoever developed the Spotify algorithm did a spot-on good job and deserves, like, million plus $1, you know? Like, a lot of big money shit. And yeah, no, it helps a lot and just keeps things fresh and makes things a bit more interesting, a bit more fun, honestly, because with like modern day and all this sort of stuff, like technology and whatnot, right? A lot of people just put a lot of pressure on themselves, and especially if you're going to school, like high school or college, or if you're at work, or if you're in like graduate school, whatever, right? There's like a lot of pressure and demand, and then there's like a lot of like menial shit that you'd have to do, like file like papers or like you know, you have to study for this thing, right? All this sort of stuff. But at least music can make it really, like, it can make it less painful, I guess, in the process. Like if I had to put music, like, or at least the energetic music, as some sort of drug, like a good drug, I would put it as not painkillers, but so it's fucked actually. But I mean, it could be painkillers, it could be speed or fucking cocaine. I don't know, but in like a healthy manner because like again, your tympanic memory is going like, and then your head's also going. So therefore, you're gonna go fucking sicko mode, and then you're just gonna go do whatever you wanted to do. And then you're gonna end up in this flow state, right? Which, if you don't know, flow state is like, you know, when you're not thinking about time passing by, and then, you know, you're just kind of doing your thing. You have this momentum. You don't need anybody to tell you, I need to do this thing. You're in that momentum already, right? So, yeah, there's that. There's like many other different reasons why, but I mean, I'm not gonna waste a lot of your time on that. So, really, my main message here is just, you know, music can be good for you, but it can also be bad at the same time, depending on how you use it and like how you or what you use it for, right? Because music is a tool, much like drugs and like anything else in life. Music, drugs, hookers, cocaine, you know, all the fun stuff, all the fun shit. Okay, and I'm gonna be a role model. Fucking dude. For some people, I'd be a role model. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, like, music can make a lot of things in life a lot more fun and enjoyable, at least to me. And it takes a lot of experimentation and playing around as to, like, what really gets you going. Like, maybe you like that, like, white girl pop shit or whatever. But, I mean, that's not my thing. Or, like, indie rock, right? Or maybe, I don't know, some other shit. And, you know, if you're worried about, like, basic taste or whatever in music, like, don't worry about that. Nobody gives a shit. I don't give a shit. I just, like, if you listen to, like, Ariana Grande or whatever, I'm not gonna call you a basic bitch for that. I'm like, okay, cool, you listen to Ariana Grande. Not my taste, but I respect that, right? Because, I mean, I'll listen to anything if it just sounds good. I have, like, pretty low standards when it comes to music, bro. I'm fine with, like, just, like, cowbells and synth and just, like, ear-raping bass, essentially. Like, it's like that's my standards on music. But and also J-pop, J-rock, Japanese music in general, super. I know. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know. But yeah. Okay, but no, for real, like, just go ahead and listen to whatever you want to listen to. I don't have any playlists or anything, so I'm not gonna link them because I don't do that really. Go ahead and use music as an effective tool for whatever you want to use it for, and yeah, eat ass, smoke grass, and do a lot of cocaine and fuck hookers. I guess I don't fucking know. I don't know how else to end this other than music good. Use music to advantage. So yeah, yeah, that's all I got. So I'm gonna do some beatbox or some shit. So. Jesse, we need to make this fire-ass beat, Jesse. But Mr. White, why do we gotta make a fire-ass beat? Don't we need to, like, cook meth or shit, man? Like, no, Jesse, you don't understand, Jesse. I don't know why I keep saying Jesse a lot. No, Jesse, trust me, Jesse. This is how we make the best fucking meth. This is... What the fuck am I doing, man? Hey, yo, Mr. White, I think we have a lunatic behind the mic, Mr. White.
Jesse, we deal with all kinds of lunatics, Jesse. Do you remember Tuco?
Tuco, yeah, what about that bitch? Fucking glocked him and shit. Whatever.
Oh, no, Jesse, that's not my point. My point, Jesse, is that
I have schizophrenia.
Jesse, I have schizophrenia, Jesse.
Mr. White, I think I knew that. Mr. White, I think I knew that, man. You keep on saying Jesse every like 2 seconds, man. Keep on saying my name.
Jesse, shut up. I need more meth. We need to sell it to Gustavo. Gustavo Finger.
Oh my fucking god. If I ever look back on this, future me, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna leave this as a blank audio file, and then like we'll see where this goes. We'll just have like some blank text that says, "What the fuck? This is what happens when I'm bored," or nah, just bonus content. I'm bored. Lol. Lamau.